Hi, this is Nana Hosenfeld with the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Sunday, July 14th, 2019. Looking at fire potential impacts over the next few days, we are looking at a drying trend across the region for this week. We will see breezy winds of 20 to 30 miles an hour continue across parts of the Great Basin over the next few days. You can see those areas where we're expecting the winds highlighted in orange, and these are significant because of all of the recent lightning we've seen and the new fire starts. These winds could have an impact on those fires and lightning strikes. We will see that mixed wet and dry lightning from the past few days decrease in coverage over the northern areas over the next few days. As far as precipitation over the past 24 hours, you can see that there were a few storms, although the precipitation amounts were largely below half an inch across the area, and quite a bit of lightning. You can see a pretty significant amount of lightning across the Great Basin over the past 24 hours, looking at that map on the right. As far as fire activity, things are beginning to ramp up across the area. You can see quite a few new starts and some ongoing larger fires across the area. Looking at precipitation over the past 2 weeks, you can see it's really been quite dry. That image on the right shows how the observed precipitation compares to normal. You can see almost the entire Great Basin has seen below normal precipitation over the past 2 weeks. You can see that one large bullseye across eastern Utah, and I'm guessing that is an error in the data. As far as ERCs across the area, things are generally in the 50th to 70th percentile category, generally still below normal or close to normal across the Great Basin, but slowly beginning to inch towards more normal levels. And looking at the ERC charts, here on this slide, you can see that the ERCs are pretty close to normal across these two PSAs highlighted on the map, and this is pretty representative of the Great Basin as a whole, with ERCs generally at or slightly above normal across the Great Basin, but not really in record territory anywhere yet. Looking at live fuel moisture, again, as far as what we've had reported, live fuel moisture is generally at normal levels or a little bit above normal levels across the Great Basin, so that live fuel moisture is trending downwards and for the most part staying at or above normal levels. 10-hour fuel moistures continue to dry out, and you can see those pretty dry values across especially the southern and western parts of the Great Basin, where conditions have been quite dry over the past 2 weeks. Looking at a satellite image for today, you can see high pressure in place across the region and a little bit of moisture across central and southeastern Utah, down into the Arizona Strip and far southern Nevada, rotating around that high pressure system. For today, we are looking at moisture in place across the southeastern part of the Great Basin, but the real big picture highlight today would be those winds expected across portions of western Nevada. Those will generally be in that 20 to 30 mile an hour range. For today's weather, we are looking at those showers and thunderstorms across the eastern part of the Great Basin where that moisture is still in place. You can see those areas highlighted in light green on the map. And as far as wind gusts, you can see those areas of 20 to 30 mile an hour wind gusts across western Nevada, and then also some portions of eastern Nevada. Looking at today's relative humidities, you can see some single-digit relative humidities expected across parts of western Nevada today. As we move into Monday, we start to see a weather system moving into the Pacific Northwest that will help to move moisture out of the area. So if we look at the weather for Monday, really not much expected across the Great Basin as far as showers and thunderstorms. You could still see some elevated wind gusts on Monday, but those gusts will generally be below critical levels. And as far as relative humidities, those relative humidities will be generally below 15% across much of the area. As we move into Tuesday, that weather disturbance continues to make its way across the Pacific Northwest, closer into the Great Basin, and we are looking at some increased winds across the southern part of the Great Basin on Tuesday, and we have those highlighted with a high risk. So looking at Tuesday, you can see, as far as the weather, really not much in the way of showers and thunderstorms. We are looking at those wind gusts, and you can see those in that map on the right. Generally southwesterly winds across the areas with the strongest wind gusts. And looking at the relative humidities on Tuesday, you can see generally below 15% in the areas where we are looking at those stronger wind gusts. Over the next 3 days, not too much in the way of precipitation, nothing too significant expected, although we could see those showers and thunderstorms across the eastern part of the Great Basin, and you can see that here on that map. As we move into Wednesday, we do remain under the influence of that weather system, and things will remain quite dry across the area. You can see almost all of the areas on our significant fire potential map are in the yellow and brown categories. As we move into Thursday, you can see that dry air remaining in place across the Great Basin. As we go into Friday, not too much change there, really remaining quite dry across the area. And then on Saturday, looking at the potential for high pressure building across the area, and that does bring the possibility of monsoonal moisture impacting the area beginning next weekend. So in the 7-day period, really not much additional accumulation after what we're expecting to see today. Finally, in the 8 to 14 day period, the Climate Prediction Center is calling for above normal temperatures across the entire Great Basin, with below normal precipitation across the northern parts of the area, and then a tiny sliver of above normal precipitation across the southeast. So that's it. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. Our information is on the screen, and you can also find us on Twitter. Thank you.